It's Karen Clinton.
Wow, wow. Can everyone hear me first of all? Okay, great, great. All right. Well, first I want to say thank you, Mr. Kemp Satchel. I appreciate your leadership, your phenomenal leadership. I tell you, just being there for me when I need guidance, when I need help, just calling and encouraging me. So I definitely want to say appreciate you for that and say thank you for your phenomenal, phenomenal leadership. And I don't want to be before you guys long. So this morning, the topic that I want to talk about is possessing the spirit of the conqueror in business. Now, I decided to talk about this because many of us, if we're honest enough to admit it, we've gone through or we're still facing some challenges, some hiccups, some adversity in our personal lives. And this came about after starting this business. So, the adversity, it has many faces. It's disguised as misfortune. It comes as trouble, hardship, suffering, affliction, sorrow, and pain. But most times what we're going through is totally, totally unrelated to our business. Totally unrelated to our business. And when it hits us, it hits us hard, but these are things that we have to deal with. And because we have to deal with these things, sometimes it totally affects our performance in our business. But just possessing the spirit of the conqueror helps us to defeat or just gain control over the situation and move forward on the path that we've set out. So, I want to talk about what that adversity looks like. Sometimes it comes as the death of a loved one. Sometimes, especially the death of a loved one, that's something we just can't control. It looks like, us getting a call from the school, from the principal, from our child's teacher telling them that they got in trouble at school. It looks like sickness in our bodies. It looks like our spouse losing a job. It looks like a foreclosed home, a repossessed car, a failed marriage or relationship. And for some of us, it looks like financial issues. But these are the things that we have to deal with, because if we don't deal with those things, then they're going to deal with us. We can't ignore that stuff. So, oftentimes when we're dealing with those hiccups, and I like to call them detours on the road to destiny. It's easy for us to take on that mentality that no one understands. It's easy for us to think that, I'm the only one going through this. It's easy to just give up and retreat and go back to what's familiar to us. It's easy to decrease your activity in the business and or even stop working the business completely. But there's those times of crushing. I call that crushing. When we feel like a ton of bricks just fell on us. And it's that time that we got to reach on the inside of us. We got to find that inner strength. And we have to tap into the spirit of the conqueror. Our actions in our business, they shouldn't be contingent upon the things that we go through in our personal lives. So I want to talk about what a conqueror is. A conqueror is one who defeats or subdues. They overcome or surmount by physical, mental, or moral force. A conqueror is one who's victorious and wins. I'm going to repeat that. A conqueror is one who defeats or subdues. They overcome or surmount by physical, mental, or moral force. One who is victorious and wins. So to possess the spirit of the conqueror, we need to overcome some things. And I came up with 5 things that we need to overcome. The first thing, we have to overcome ourselves. Yeah, we have to overcome ourselves. We can't be overly emotional. We got to deal with what happened in our lives, but we can't stay there. We cannot stay there. And I'm mainly talking to the women in this business and the women on this training call. Now, some of the guys too, but mostly women. Because most of us, we're just emotionally unstable because we've been told by others that we can't succeed. We've been told that we're never going to be anything. We don't know what we're doing. You know, people have said those things to us, and we get stuck there because those people, their opinion actually matter to us. And you know, these are things sometimes that are spoken to us in our childhood, you know, from our in past relationships or even in current relationships. But these statements, they affect our self-esteem. And when it happens, we become so stifled, we begin to second guess our ability to achieve and our ability to really lead ability. We have to be consistent in our behavior because people are watching. And for those watchers or those naysayers, we have to take on that I don't care what you think attitude, I'm going to win. So, what helps us with this is just surrounding yourself with like minded people. You know, we're eagles. We got to stop hanging around with chickens and buzzards. That's just point blank. You know, we got to read self help books all the time. We need to confess positive affirmations daily. And we need to do that several times a day. We have a list of affirmations in our Creators of Wealth in the Getting Started manual. So if we haven't even printed that and started confessing those things, I urge us to start doing that immediately. We need to do that on a daily basis. The second thing we have to overcome or we have to conquer is fear. You know, we always hear people say the definition of fear, or fear is false evidence appearing real. It's not real. So we got to get over the fear. A conqueror goes into new territory and they take it by force. You know, for me, network marketing this time around for me is new territory because the first time I ever tried to do it, and this was several years ago, I had absolutely no knowledge about it at all. I was just one of those people clogging up someone's matrix. You know, I signed up to help someone get a promotion, but I didn't do a doggone thing in the business. But this time I said, you know what, I'm not going to have fear. You know, I was determined to take the bull by the horns and make it happen in this business. And I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired. So when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you don't care about failing because you realize that if I don't do something, I'm going to die in this place. You know, I'm going to faint in this place. I just can't go down like that. You know that and you have that. Now, some of us, you know, we're at a place of desperation. You know, we're looking at this thing like this has to work. So if that means I got to get out of my comfort zone and my fear of talking to people or hearing no, then so be it. This is going to have to happen. You know, we fear rejection. And rejection is devastating, but don't let it crush you. You know, let's look at Oprah. Oprah was fired from her first television job, but she didn't let that stop her. You know, Thomas Edison, he had about 10,000 attempts to create the light bulb. What if he gave up on 9,999 times? What if he gave up? So what if we're hearing 10 no's a day? There's no great success that was ever achieved without failure. We got to be willing to fight for success and for our businesses, for our families' financial freedom. We have to fight for every dream and desire that we've had. If we're too timid, we will always be limited by our current situation. I want to say that again. If we're too timid and afraid, we will always be limited by our current situation. That's giving our situation too much power over us, and I refuse to let those things have power. So the third thing that we have to overcome is excuses. Excuses. There's a quote by Thomas J. Smith, and he said, excuses are tools of incompetence that build monuments of nothingness, and those who specialize in them seldom do anything else. Again, excuses are tools of incompetence that build monuments of nothingness, and those who specialize in them seldom do anything else. Look, excuses come when we fail to take responsibility. It is easy to shift the blame on someone else or our current situation. But the fact of the matter is, look, we can make excuses all day long, but our failure and our success depends on us only. No one else is responsible for that. So we got to say no more excuses. We're going to have to man up or woman up. We're going to have to set some goals and work until what we purpose to do is manifested. We got to do those things. The fourth thing that we have to conquer is laziness. Laziness, and I'm preaching to myself right now. Laziness, we got to conquer that. Now, I know you guys probably remember from elementary or grade school about Newton's law. But Newton's law says that an object in motion tends to stay in motion, but an object at rest tends to stay at rest. Some of us are just naturally driven to complete what we set out to do, and then the rest of us, we need a little motivation. So laziness is a lifestyle for some people. Another good word for laziness is called complacency. Now, this is when we taking on the mentality that nothing can be done about our situation, so we refuse to change. Now, the Bible is one of my favorite books. And in the book of Proverbs, there are so many warnings about being lazy. One of them, Proverbs 10:4, where it says, "Poor is he who works with a negligent hand, but the hand of the diligent makes rich." And then Proverbs 20:4 says, "The sluggard does not plow after the autumn, so he begs during the harvest and has nothing." Wow. Being lazy or complacent, it'll cause you to have like an entitlement attitude. And then with that entitlement attitude, there's like this unrealistic expectation that you should reap where you haven't even sown. It's just unrealistic to think that you should reap where you haven't sown. And then slack causes lack. Slack causes lack. We're either purposefully going about our day or we're wasting time. And time is something that we can't back if we lose it. Lastly, we have to conquer arrogance. We have to conquer arrogance. Arrogance is ego plus ignorance. We all know people who you can't tell them anything because they know every doggone thing. They know everything. They sometimes even try to challenge your knowledge on the subject. But I've learned that those people use arrogance to try to hide their own ignorance. There's no need for that in this business. When we are ignorant about something, we just have to get educated on it. It's okay to ask for help. Pride and arrogance tells us that we shouldn't ask for help. But if multi-level marketing is new to you, we got to be coachable, and we have to take the time to learn from the many mentors that we have in this business. We have people who have been doing this for years, and they're just awesome mentors in this business. And I'm so thankful for our leaders, like our regional diamond, Mr. Satchel, like Ron Jones, like Bruce Bailey. So many of the other leaders that we have in our business, Mr. Preston Scott. We have so many leaders, and we appreciate them for their leadership. But, we can have that massive success if we seek out their guidance and their strategy. So we got to conquer arrogance. And that's all that I had to talk about today. I'm done planning for this moment, but I'll close by just saying each of us, we have the spirit of the conqueror on the inside of us. So we can't be moved by the things that we can't change. It may hit us at first. We adjust, we make the adjust, and we go forward. We press forward, we take on some new land out there. That's what conquering is all about. We call that new land prospecting for our business. We get on it. A conqueror is a great person. And great people are prepared to deal with great obstacles. So, each one of you on this line today, you're in this business. I'm here to tell you that you're great. Let's put our emotions aside. Let's put fear aside. Let's put excuses, laziness, complacency, arrogance, and ignorance aside. And let's dominate in our businesses. I'm done. That's all I have to say. And back to you, Mr. Kemp Satchel.
Wow.
Wow.
Hold on, ladies. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Miss Karen Clinton, the spirit of a conqueror. Oh my goodness. Oh, come on now. Y'all gotta do better than that. Miss Clinton, Karen, out. Shoot. Outstanding job. Outstanding job. I really, as you listen to this, and she said, that's all I have to say. She said more than a mouthful, ladies and gentlemen. She said more than a mouthful. And I know a lot of you come to the opportunity sometimes or training, and you just don't realize what you're going to get or how you're going to get it. And this was some excellent training to a point that I believe everybody needs to everybody needs to hear this one again. And it was recorded so that you can really get the footnotes that follow the 5 steps. What's the things we must overcome is ourselves, okay? Then fear. And these are key elements because, ladies and gentlemen, listen, how hard is it really to give out 2 cards a day? Just talk to 2. Lily, when you really think about it, how hard is it to just give out 2 cards? It's not hard. But when fear is in the way, it becomes very difficult, doesn't it? Yes, it does. When it says, how hard is it to give out, to literally talk to 2 people, but when we get in our own way and we start talking to ourselves and we're not saying the right thing, it becomes very difficult, doesn't it? When we start talking about handing out or talking to 2 people, but when excuses get in the way, it becomes a little bit more difficult to talk to these people because, I can't talk to nobody because I work a full-time job. I can't talk to nobody because I don't go out. I can't talk to nobody because my internet is off. I can't talk to nobody because of the excuse. And y'all heard what the excuse meant. Then, oh my God, how difficult, ladies and gentlemen, is it to just go out and give 2 cards? But when laziness is in the way, OMG, man, does that make it difficult for us to just, but ladies and gentlemen, man, then you start talking about ignorance, or what she say, arrogance, which means what? Ego plus ignorance. And you see how that can get in the way, because now when we start speaking on other people, watch other people, now we're so arrogant, we're so ignorant that we getting upset because somebody said no, right? We want to be arrogant towards the person. Oh, they so stupid. I can't. These people in my town, the people over here, Mr. Satchel, trust me, these folks they don't have the mentality, ladies and gentlemen. That's ignorance. That's straight ignorance. Because what you dealing with there is happening right here. What you dealing with in China is happening right here in Philadelphia. What you dealing with in South Carolina, North Carolina, D.C., it's right here. But baby, when you get the spirit of a conqueror, come on, somebody, get out your way. Get out of the way. Get your dreams ahead of your fear. Guess what? Stop. Your dream is so big. You want this thing so bad. Guess what? Ain't no excuse gonna stop me. You understand? When you want something so bad, when you get that spirit, you're gonna get your butt up every day. You're gonna walk and do whatever you gotta do. Because guess what? My family means too much to me. When you start saying, guess what? I'm gonna get rid of the ego and I'm gonna pick up some grace and mercy. I'm gonna pick up some understanding. Come on, baby. The spirit of a conqueror will get you anywhere, everywhere, any day, every day. With that being said, outstanding trainer, Miss Karen Clinton. And if that wasn't good for your soul, ladies and gentlemen, if that don't get you up off your butt, hello, I don't know what will. You didn't hear it. Maybe you need to go get your hearing checked out. But outstanding training one more time. Woo! I am excited about this opportunity, and I'm even more excited about you because, ladies and gentlemen, we just getting started. That was Karen. Who's next? Because guess what? There is a giant. What did she say? There's a spirit of a conqueror in all of us. There's a spirit of a conqueror in all of us. Who's going to hit national? And I'm going to do it on purpose. Literally, I'm going to state that. Listen, I'm going to be national by X, Y, and Z. And guess what? My spirit of a conqueror is going to get me there. I'm going to do whatever I have to do. See, ladies and gentlemen, we already have that inside of us because many of us have done this over and over and over and over again for the job. Guess what? I'm going to do whatever I got to do to keep my job. I'm going to do whatever I got to do, right? I got to keep this, whatever I got to do. Am I making sense? So it's in us. It's in us. Don't say you don't have it in you, because if that man would have told you you're going to lose your job, you better do whatever you got to do to get here. How many of y'all borrowed money at one time to get to work? How many of y'all went out there and said, listen, I need this because I need some gas in my car? How many of you may have even went and walked to work because you didn't want to be late? Come on now. Y'all going to act like y'all don't know what I'm talking about. When you out and about and you down and low and go, guess what? Desperation will get you a long way. How desperate are you to get to where you want? Ladies and gentlemen, that's the spirit of a conqueror. So we appreciate you, Miss Clinton. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we definitely want to appreciate all of you that were on the call on today. All right, I have a book that I have been reading. All right. Listen to what I just said. I have a book that I have been reading, and it has literally changed my whole outlook on the way that we are building this business. Okay, we are building this business. And notice what I just said. I read a book that has just given me, watch this. I have read a book that has given me some new information that has given me a whole different direction and dynamic on my outlook of this business, which literally gives me a totally different expectation of this business. Are you following what I'm saying? Based on information that I purposely read on purpose. Okay? Why? Because how many of you want to build this business big? Honestly, how many of you really want to build your business big? I believe all of us that's sitting in this room, you wouldn't be here if you didn't, right? But now, is it true to say that most of us were never taught how to build a huge organization, how to build a business? And it's like we have a desire, but many of us have been trying to figure it out, right? And normally when you're trying to figure out stuff, don't that take up some enormous amount of time? So what I did realize, even when it comes to speaking to leadership on a daily basis, sometimes that can be very difficult. Okay, sometimes that can be very difficult. Am I right about it? Because guess what? The leaders are busy. They're building their businesses. And then when you may have time, their time may not line up with your time. But I did find out that when I started reading books that leaders have written in this industry, it can make life a little bit easier. So the book that I'm suggesting, I mean, many of you may know this gentleman. His name is Brian Carruthers. Brian Carruthers. Anybody know that gentleman? A dynamic leader in the industry of network marketing. He has built an organization of over 350,000 people. He continues to build, but he wrote a book, and the name of the book is called Build an Empire. Build an Empire. Build an empire. Did you hear what I just said? Now, guess what? It says shoot for the what? Shoot for the stars or shoot for the moon. And regardless if you're shooting to build an empire, even if you just got a building, how many of y'all would be happy? Even if you got little a house, how many of us would be happy? Even if I met and got a tent, I would still be happy, because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I shot for the moon, and I guarantee you, when you shoot for those types of things, this book is called Build an Empire. It is the blueprint of building a network marketing. And I've read it myself as your leader, your diamond. I encourage all of you to get this book and start reading it immediately. That will help you, because you know how you actually, watch this, you've been in business and you'll say, well, how did you do it? How did you do it? People will say, well, I've built thousands and thousands of organizations and huge organizations. And then when you ask them how it was done, very few can tell you how to do it. Am I right about it? They'll say, go out and talk. Just get 3 people. Just talk to people. Get right. How many of us have heard that? Just get your cousin. Just get them on the call. Just do this. Do you realize, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what you do, there is always a right way and a wrong way to do it? Am I right about it? Yes or yes? So it's important for you to train, yes. All right, but it's important to have good leadership. But I'm going to tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, it's very important for you to study. Did you hear what I'm saying? If you have decided that this is going to be the industry that is going to govern your lifestyle, it is important that you study this industry. It's just like when you become a Christian. If you decided to be a Christian was going to be your lifestyle, you got to study the word of God. Am I right about it? Yes or yes? See, this is true. If you decide you want to be an attorney, guess what? You have to study to show thyself what approved. I don't care what it is that you're doing. You got to study your craft. And that's something that I, Bruce, Karen, none of us can do for you. We can't study. The teacher can give you the information, but it's now totally up to you to go home and study. Your pastor can't make you study. He can give you the word, but you got to go home and reference it and understand it and make it a part of you. Oh, my goodness. And these are the people that will win in this business. Are you following what I'm saying? Yes or yes? So with that being said, Brian Carruthers, Build an Empire, the perfect blueprint of network marketing. I encourage all of you to get that book. I am actually going to, as you can continue hearing me saying, I'm putting together a class that's going to be totally for the elite, okay? These are going to be totally for those that are elite, that really want to do this business full time. We know everybody don't want to do it, but I am definitely going to conduct this class, and you must have that particular book. It's called Build an Empire by Brian Carruthers. You can get it off of Amazon. It's a download to your Kindle for $9.99. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what did I just say? $10. Now, if a $10 book can make me $1 million, I think I'm above the law right now. Correct? Are you following what I'm saying? A $10. I didn't say $1 million, because if you wanted to see this man in person, you're gonna spend a whole lot of money. But to have his blueprint, I think it would be well worth your investment. Okay, and I can promise you, most of the leaders, that's Bruce Bailey, a lot of these leaders have been under his direction, so they would definitely back it up as well. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you. What I'm going to do right now is one more thing, and then we're done. All right, we're done. I really want to go over the process of the webinars. How many of you actually use the webinar? How many of you actually use the webinar on a daily basis, and it has definitely been working for you, right? How many of you use this webinar on a daily basis? Okay. How many of y'all know how important the webinars are, correct? All right. Now watch this. Who makes up the webinar, ladies and gentlemen? Is it the tool or is it the people in the webinar? Who is the tool or the people in the webinar? It's the people that makes up the webinar, okay? We're not going to only just talk about the webinar, but we're going to be talking about these events as well, right? How many of y'all actually have a weekly event that y'all are taking advantage of in your city? How important this is, right? Events, watch, events, webinars are events as well, ladies and gentlemen. It's so important. Again, there's a right way to do an event, and there is what? A wrong way to do the event. And normally, if you haven't been taught how to go about doing the event, you'll normally be doing it what? The wrong way. Am I right about it? So as a leader with you on today, we're just going to go over some of the and this also will apply to the travel party, all right? The travel parties, okay? The travel parties, all right? These are different. A lot of those are taking place now. People are doing travel parties. So in the midst of these events, ladies and gentlemen, the first thing that happens when you come into a webinar, ladies and gentlemen, we all must participate on the webinar. Do you know that people are watching? When people are in the webinar, including myself, people are watching those that are actually in the webinar. Like, for instance, I can tell you how many people in this training really was participating during the time that the speakers were speaking. All right. And I know some of you are taking notes, but I want you to understand it is just as important for you to participate, especially for the speakers that are speaking. Are you following what I'm saying? Watch this. That are right. It is so important that the speakers that are speaking, they need all of your support as well as when you're taking notes. Okay, so when we get in the room, before people even come in the room, isn't it good that you speak? Hello, Bridget. If you see somebody, hey, Billy D, how are you? How are you doing, Angelia? Aren't these things important, ladies? It helps people to engage. And you know what else it does? It helps people to pay attention. Because if you see my name and things like that, guess what? It makes it, hey, Eileen, how you doing, Terica? Felicia, how you doing? What did Felicia just say? She has to go to her phone. Guess what? I see this stuff as it's going on because she has a meeting. Ron, he might be on his phone. No matter who is doing the meeting, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We must, hey, Jennifer, we must participate and help the webinar, because guess what, ladies and gentlemen, when you have a guest in the room, the worst thing that you want to see happen is that guest is treated rude, very rude. So we want to make sure that everybody gets treated fair, right? And it's a live event. We don't want them to think that's a recording or anything. It's like, hey, Karen, how you doing? Guess what? That also, watch this, it energizes the atmosphere. Key. It energizes the how many of y'all, when you come into the room, you can feel energy and you can tell when the room is high and when it's low, right? That's why a lot of times when presenters are presenting, everybody cannot present this opportunity because it's a matter of energy And all this coincides because I can't tell you how many people will come in the room and say, man, I just love this crowd. We want to be a part of something. You want to be a part, especially if you done been on work every day, if you've been on here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are attending an event, even though you don't have a guest, treat the other guests the way you want your guests to be treated. Are you following? So if it's a Monday night meeting, a Thursday night meeting, I don't care. You don't want to be mingling out in the hallways and things of that nature. You don't want to be out there if you go into an event. These things are important because, ladies and gentlemen, the leaders are literally working hard to help you build a organization. That's what we do. Every day I'm committed. Ron, Bruce's, Preston's, three-way calls, ladies and gentlemen. We have put this information up because we want you to become professional. And that's just something that we should be doing every day. The more professional we become, the more professionals we will attract. Are you with me? So it's, again, you'll hear me always say, let me grow you as a person. If I can grow you as a person to the point that you're smiling more. Why are you smiling? Because of the outcome. You know I'm going places with this. But when your life is like, shenanigans, guess what? They saying people are having all kinds of fights. You've been hearing no. Well, when we come in here, ladies and gentlemen, we got to be professional. Again, okay? You don't like kids running. You don't want the phone going off when a good piece is being said, right? Am I right about it? So we're trying to do our best to create the platforms. That's why we got a brand new platform right now. We're trying to find the best technology for you so that we can be impressive for your people. Are you following what I'm saying? And that's what's going to help us build. How many of y'all see how these mega churches build? These mega churches are huge. They have great hospitality. They have great leadership. They have great people. Guess what? The people that's in the pew is just as important as the people that's at the door greeting. If you are a guest and you're a part of this opportunity, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We want you. I don't care if I'm the speaker. I need you just as much as you need me. So when we ask you to support it and you see people in the room, please participate. It makes a difference. I don't care if you just say, Ron says, do you hear me? Yes. But when you're making that speaker say, do you hear me? Come on, do you hear me? Do you hear? You're making him work harder, right? You're making that person work harder than they had to. Just like if somebody is giving a travel party. If it's not your travel party, support the travel party, right? That's being given. You don't have to be like, oh, okay, no. Well, guess what? Go to the person's travel party. Baby, you can't have your own travel party at your house. But guess what? You hear somebody having a travel party, would you mind me inviting some of my guests to your travel party? This is so important that we participate and help one another as you are in the foundation and building your business, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you. And if you learn how to help others, your business is definitely going to take care of you. But none of us can do this by ourselves. None of us can do it by ourselves. I want to see all of you being a Karen up here in the front of this room. Do you think I want to do all of the talking all the time? No, because that means we're not developing others. Our goal is to develop you, because guess what? Isn't that how you, that's how you build a legacy. If God took me home tomorrow, will the legacy still move forward? Do you understand? Will your organization still go forward? That's the whole thing. Don't look at it just like it's a dollar or today or tomorrow, but you want to be, anything tragic could happen. Anything good could happen. I could hit the lottery. Who knows? I'm going to Japan for about 3 weeks, right? We have a convention coming up. Most of your leaders will be at that convention. Most of your leaders will be at the convention, but do we want the webinars to stop while you're here? Do you follow what I'm saying? So we need leadership of people that will do the webinars. If you can't make the convention, at least be able to still support. And we don't want to stop that momentum because some of us are at the other event. Am I making sense? And I just thought about this just the other morning. I said, Dad, Ron is going to be, Bruce is going to be there. All of these folks is going to be at convention, but we have to make sure, okay, we can't just say the heck with the people that's still here trying to be able to go to the next convention. So I have to consider these types of things. You follow what I'm saying? As a leadership, this is what we do. So with that being said, we're looking for those that don't have a problem with being a part of the platform. If you really feel like, guess what? We can train you. We can teach you. This is what we do. All right. So our business is totally contingent on your success. Did you hear what I just said? Our business is totally contingent on your success. If you're not succeeding, we're not succeeding. And at the end of the day, we want all of you to succeed. And again, I didn't mean to keep you over, but I thought that was so important as we go ahead and do these webinars. And we want to be professional when we're in the room. We want to talk. We want to meet each other, greet each other. I know there's so many of you that's actually good at that. Jerry, every time she walks in the room, hi, how you doing? Every time Jerry walks in the room, I don't care who in the room. It could be one person. She's like, hello. How you doing? You know, and guess what? That's what makes you a great leader. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're just as important as the speaker. So again, we thank you. We thank you. We thank you. We want to have an awesome week next week, ladies and gentlemen, and whatever we need to do, that's what we're here for. If you haven't spoken to me personally, I would love to have the opportunity to speak to you. I'm going to give you my phone number right now. My number is 404-333-8430. That's 404-333-8430. The leadership here, guess what? We're not selfish. We are not selfish. We want to see everybody win. We will make time for you. That's just my phone number, but there's other leaders' phone numbers on our website. If you are not part of the Creators of Wealth, go join KOW.com. Join KOW.com. Okay? Join KOW.com. I don't care if you're brand new in this business. It is important for you to seek leadership ASAP. Again, your sponsor may not be as good as your upline leaders, but guess what? We are not those that you got to go through the chain of command to get to. We want to make sure you get direction as soon as possible. So we look forward to hearing from you as soon as possible. We want to congratulate all those that have been promoted this week. Y'all give it up for all of our new executives, internationals, ex-nationals. Oh my God, let's just give it up for them as well. And again, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for all your support on Facebook as well, because many of you are supporting the Facebook. We see your congratulations. We see you a part of the team. That, again, makes the difference. You see somebody get promoted or welcome them to the group. With that being said, make sure you go to Facebook group and say something that you got out of this training today. Just go into Facebook on our training website and make sure you type in the group something that you learned today on this training, whether it was through Karen, whether it was through Richard, whether it's through myself, whether it's through the air. Go and type something just to support it. We're not asking you for an offering, but we are asking you for your support. God bless and have a great afternoon.